It sure is. What?
Why are you wearing that?
Well, since the Doctor Who 50th anniversary aired on the same date as Season 4, I just thought a more appropriate suit might be in order.
That is not a proper suit! How can you do this, even though you call yourself a Brony? Why couldn't you just...
Just shut up! It doesn't really matter! And besides, many bronies are Whovians if you haven't forgotten.
I'll be quiet.
Thank God.
For now.
Should have known. So, I guess we're ready to start the review without any more interruptions.
No, wait. There's something I have to do quickly.
What now?
There we go.
What are you wearing?
My shipping goggles.
Oh God.
Hey, calm down. These are the nifty ones. You see, they only appear every time there's an actual shipping scene in the episode, so they only appear then. See?
Just cue the intro. Hello and once again, welcome back to Brony Reviews. Today we are looking at the premiere for Season 4 of Friendship is Magic, which, like previous premieres, was hyped like crazy, and the wait was certainly crazy, but there were a lot of doubters as well.
And the case mostly was the not-so-good ending of Season 3 and the not-so-loved Equestria girls. So many bronies were pretty much fearing that this would be a sucky start.
No, it was crap! About as crap as the Crystal Empire! Oh no.
Who is he?
Fagan McCannon, one of the most obnoxious, overanalyzing and just nitpicky bronies around. That's right, and I'm here to stay, to show you how stupid and flawed this show has become! And if you can't accept that, then I'll have to make you see it my way! Well, that's one distraction dealt with.
Thank you, Leo. So, anyway, now we're looking into Princess Twilight Sparkle.
The first episode starts with Twilight flying with Rainbow Dash, who seems to be teaching Twilight how to fly. Okay.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, the problem here is the fact that Twilight still seems to be learning how to fly. Even though at the end of Magical Mystery Cure, Twilight seemed to have no trouble with flying.
Maybe it was the amazing power of musical? Or just positive thinking?
Yes! Everything's gonna be just fine!
Or maybe Rainbow is just trying to help Twilight out with something else? Since they seems to be preparing for Summer celebration and Twilight seems to or needs to do something very big and her wings seems to be not so developed enough for that stunt. Maybe?
I guess that makes some sense.
Maybe not quite that hard. Whoa! Looking good up there, Princess Twilight.
For some reason that sounded really wrong. It was wrong! Twilight shouldn't be a princess! Now she can't even be with her friend!
Or maybe because we haven't really gotten used to it yet, and the Equestria girls once again didn't exactly have the cause.
Applejack, you know, you don't have to call me that. If other ponies want to address me that way, I suppose it's fine, but not my friends. It just doesn't feel right.
And that's a good example of showing that Twilight hasn't changed at all, and is still the same pony that we all know and love. While she acknowledges her new title, she still wants her friends to at least treat her like always.
That was a big finish! My little pony, my...
Well, this seems to be a disappointment. The intro doesn't seem to be changed at all.
Yeah, it does seem that way since Twilight isn't a unicorn anymore, so...
Full and strong, sharing
What?
kindness.
Discord?
Sharing kindness. It's an easy feat, and magic makes it all complete. You have mine. Do you know you are my very best?
Yes! Yes!
She's from the beginning. Our prayers has been answered.
It certainly is nice, but it's also nice to see more characters than just the main six on the picture. But it was obviously made for fan service. I mean, how can you appreciate the fact that the creators are trying to do horrible things such as please us, the fans?
How can you not understand the magnitude of the scene? It proves that Luna actually has a part of this series, and that she is the best princess ever!
No, this was only added so that we wouldn't be complaining how this series has really sucked without love.
Thank goodness. Anyway, with the intro over, we find ourselves in that very familiar window-stained classroom, where they have added another little piece of art there. Seriously, just many stained glasses you can add there before you're running out of room.
Maybe the room is like the TARDIS?
That actually would make sense.
They've really captured your regality. I suppose.
There we go!
Really?
Hey, I can't help it. These classes are very sensitive.
But have you actually noticed that the animation and shading is, well, different?
Yes, I have, and I'm simply amazed.
And just when we thought they probably couldn't make the animation any better after Season 3. But DHX seems to have found a way.
And what amazing way it was. Now I'm hoping that future episodes of this season are going to look something like this.
We'd better get going. We don't want to miss our train.
Fluttershy's right. Don't know about y'all, but I've still got bushels to do to get ready. The official celebration may be here in Candlelight, but hoo-wee, as the mayor put us in charge of one heck of a party back home. Oh, don't look like that, Sugar Cube. You get to be right there.
Like I said, very sensitive. So it seems the way Twilight and the others are addressing this is that the last summer celebration, which brought them together by the way, and all, seems to happen 1 year ago. So all that crap that happened in seasons 1, 2, 3, all of that happened in 1 year? Damn!
Certainly would explain the crazy Twilight bit better.
Hi, girls.
And then Applejack brings up their connection to the elements, which is really nice. But she seems to misunderstand one bit about being connected to the elements.
The six of us are united by the elements of harmony.
It's not like this will be brought up later.
Oh please, whenever the writers have done anything like that.
Right, every pony?
Uh-huh.
Right, Pinkie Pie?
Creamy, creamy frosting. You should take that as a yes.
Oh, Pinkie Pie, you and your weird fetish and love for frostings and other sweet things. Oh? Not like that!
But all of this is still really nice, as we can see that Twilight is still the same here. The way she acts and speaks with her friends is already good enough evidence that she hasn't changed at all, even with her those new wings.
Yes, but no doubt that some people will still find a way to complain about it. Those scenes don't prove anything! This actually proves more that she's a Mary Sue because she's so nice to them.
We're gonna write you and give you so many details it'll be like you're in Ponyville with us. Right, girls? Cross my heart and hope to fly. Stick a cupcake in my eye.
You really need to keep that promise. We don't want any more scenes with demonic Pinkie.
Wait a minute, where's Pinkie's house? Okay.
Seriously? This is already the third and we haven't even got far through the episode.
Sensitive!
Fine, whatever.
They've only been gone a minute, and I already feel like I'm missing something.
For the princess?
You are not derpy!
Dear Twilight, you aren't missing anything. Your friend, Pinkie Pie.
It's Pinkie Pie.
So with that, we move to Twilight's room. Well, not her old room, since it looks nothing like the room from when the show started.
Maybe she decided to take Rarity's quarters?
Or this is just a different part of the building.
Could be.
But anyway, inside we see Twilight doing what she does best. Make a list about everything. And Spike, of course. Being Spike.
The celebration isn't until the day after tomorrow. We could still fit in a quick trip to Ponyville and be back in plenty of time to finish off these last few things before the main event.
Well, that sounded like a nice idea. I mean...
But what if something else came up while we were gone? What if we were delayed getting back and I wasn't able to finish everything on that list? What if we lost the list on the way to Ponyville and then couldn't remember which things we'd done and which things we hadn't done, and then spent so much time trying to figure out what we hadn't done and what we had done that we ruined the entire celebration by not doing the one really important thing that we were supposed to do?
And also her OCD hasn't changed. If that roof wasn't there, could it have been possible for Twilight to freak out until she hit something like the low orbit?
Your Highness!
No need for that now, Princess Twilight.
And I say that same to Spike. Since when was the last time he actually bowed to Celestia, even though he has known her his entire life?
Yeah, that is a bit weird. And the way she said the word princess didn't sound right at all.
Sorry.
No need to apologize.
Sorry.
Aww, that's adorable. That's my favorite pony, alright. Right next to Luna, of course.
I must admit that it is wonderful to actually be looking forward to the Summer Sun celebration.
What do you mean?
For my subjects, it has always been a celebration of my defeat of Nightmare Moon. But for me, it was just a terrible reminder that I'd had to banish my own sister.
Wow. That was actually really deep and gave Celestia an actual moment to show more of her character.
And you can really feel the pain Celestia no doubt went through after banishing her sister and having to live with that knowledge by herself all those years, while the rest of her subjects thought she had just defeated some evil villain.
I guess I'd never really thought about it that way.
And that makes her look like more of a three-dimensional character, outside looking pretty and happy. Here, she pretty much let out her true feelings and her true self in a sense. This makes me hope that we get more like this about Celestia in the future.
But now it has become a wonderful reminder of her transformation back into Princess Luna and our happy reunion. I am so pleased that you will be playing a role in the festivities.
And this scene just proves even more that there is a lot we could do with Celestia's character. And it's rather a nice and touching scene. And the moment is ruined. Not a word.
A message for Princess Twilight.
Still not derpy!
A letter from Ponyville, I presume?
Never mind. It's not important.
Thankful Pinkie Pie didn't hear that.
This is just more proof that being a princess, Twilight doesn't care for her friends or Ponyville.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
And then Twilight decided to do her good old double checklist check, and Celestia leaves. And we suddenly started following her with rather sinister music. Not a word.
Not a word.
That scene was so obviously made to please the bloody trolls.
So in the next morning, Twilight wakes up and sees something rather bizarre. The sky seems to be both day and night as both sun and moon are up.
Well, that doesn't make any sense at all. We've come to accept it since this is a fantasy world. Stuff like this is bound to happen. You may have accepted this lazy plot, but I haven't. Now you could say that we've entered the Twilight Zone.
But the problems don't seem to end there, as both Princess Celestia and Luna are...
They're gone!
I sense a pattern here.
But I don't understand. Where are they?
We don't know. It seems that Princess Celestia and Princess Luna have simply vanished.
Isn't that scary?
Wow, these gods really like their dramatic tones.
We await your command.
My command?
It seems that way since we didn't get ourselves a new captain of the guard.
Huh, that was actually really good. You would make an excellent royal guard.
Thanks, I guess.
I want you to continue the search for Princess Luna and Princess Celestia. We have to find them before ponies start to panic.
Your Highness, news from Ponyville. The Everfree Forest appears to be, well, invading.
You can't catch a break, can you, Twilight? I wonder what he meant by invading.
Where the heck are these things coming from?
Okay, first, this is creepy as hell.
And second, it's awesome! Because it's so creepy! And, in a way, rather dark. I mean, just look around and don't say you would be really freaked out when sky's like that and then there are all these vines, plants, whatever.
Something strange about the sky.
Well, she had a different reaction. Son of a...
Where are you going?
I'm allergic to pollen!
Don't worry, it only seems to affect unicorns anyway.
Whew, that was a relief. I mean, relief for me.
Anyway, as you can all see, Ponyville isn't exactly faring well, and the ponies of the town aren't taking it well. Wilhelm scream again!
Is that gonna be a new thing for the show?
It seems that way. And the rest of the main six are trying their best to deal with the problem, but not with great results.
The forest is expanding, y'all. And judging by how fast it's moving, it doesn't seem content just taking over Ponyville. I reckon before long, it'll cover half of Equestria.
So the situation is rather dire, and so far it is really great on the story's part, as we are not fully sure what or even who is causing all of this, and so far it seems it's actually the Everfree Forest that literally has gone nuts. So, how our heroes are going to deal with this?
We need to get the elements of harmony and find the others.
Of course, I mean, what else could you use?
Well, now it's only their maybe fourth time they're using the elements. Last time they freed Discord from his stone prison.
Good point. So after another joke about Twilight being Twilight, and by that I mean her forgetting that she can fly, she is off to Ponyville.
Okay, are all alicorns equipped with seatbelts? Or are they like installed or something like that? If so, that must hurt like hell. And besides, how does that even work since there aren't any chairs or whatever? So how are they able to hold Spike?
Because... magic?
With science!
Incoming!
Tactical Alicorn, take cover! Sorry, false alarm.
Poor Spike, still being used as comic relief.
But it was still funny.
Sweet ground. Sweet, sweet, wonderful ground.
This is just ridiculous.
Someone must have tampered with these.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the Everfree Forest is just a teeny tiny bit out of control. Has Princess Celestia sent you to dispel it post-haste? Not exactly. You see, Princess Celestia is... well, she and Princess Luna are both... gone missing!
Wow. Subtle, Spike.
I don't know who has taken them, but I've got a hunch we're going to need the elements of harmony to get them back. Oh yeah, just like old times. Booyah!
Even ponies now know our stuff. What next? Ponies selling Discord lamps?
Half day, half night. Strange weather patterns. Out of control plants. I think I'm starting to get a pretty good idea of who we're up against.
Of course, the signs were so obvious. I mean, how could we not have noticed this?
Yes, you are right. The only one powerful enough to do this much mayhem could only be Daring Do!
Yeah. Wait, what? I thought it was...
Winter wrap up, winter wrap up.
Well, yeah, Discord, yeah, he was my last suggestion on my... Shut up!
I was in the middle of a particularly invigorating shower.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
Now this certainly was a great way to bring Discord back.
And you see something else. He actually acts the same way before he was reformed.
Yeah. Guess I was worrying over nothing.
The rest of you could learn a lot about friendship from my dear friend Shutterfly here.
It's Fluttershy.
Oh, right, whatever.
But now Discord's here, and we're no doubt going to be getting some answers.
Why don't you ask your zebra friend if she knows anything?
Wow, they're actually throwing a lot up here. And it's really awesome!
Oh sure, you think like that? All they're offering us is fan service.
But at least she serves a purpose.
I do not dare to use it myself. The result would be tragic. It only responds to alicorn magic. Princess Twilight, you can turn the potion from purple to white. After a sip, you may see why the sky is day and night.
Which was so convenient that she happened to have that.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I have to agree that it's just stupid that Zagora just happens to have a potion that just happens to react to alicorn magic. It's just...
Well, then again, Sakura always seemed to have these kinds of answers before, but this is a bit bigger than the previous ones.
Twilight, that is the same kind of spell Celestia used back in Crystal Empire episodes. I think you might have mixed up some spells.
Are you kidding me? That was obviously—
God, no! Get your freaking head out of that gutter right now! And besides, it was obvious Twilight made some milk. Ugh. Get your head once again out of that gutter! And don't believe me? Just watch! You may think you are strong now, but I'm drinking my milk. And now I become an Alicorn princess. Thanks, Emma Larson!
Doesn't seem to be working. Where am I?
Could this be that scene from the animatic?
Not another step.
Princess Luna!
It is.
There can only be one princess in Equestria, and that princess will be me!
There can be only one.
Heavy.
Well, that was a rather interesting way to end the first part.
What was point of that? But then again, this is Luna's jealousy and spite towards Celestia, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
Maybe, but have you once again noticed the animation?
Oh, yes!
Banished to the moon. You'll give us no choice but to send you back there if you don't stop.
Sheesh, Twilight, you must realize that this might be a flashback since you drank that milk potion.
Shh! I want to see more of this.
You must lower the moon. It is your duty. Luna, I am Nightmare Moon.
Oh, it's on now!
I have but one royal duty now: to destroy you!
By the way, does that laser sound familiar? That was no doubt put there to appeal to the Whovian bronies. And what's wrong with that?
Holy that was just... Oh my god!
And who says this was just a little girl's show?
No. Why would Luna do this? Why now?
Even though we all know this is a flashback, this is a really heavy, dramatic, and actually touching scene. Something you didn't expect from My Little Pony.
You're all right. You're all right. Princess Celestia?
Still so clueless, Twilight, and you were supposed to be the smarter one.
Shh! I want to see more of this.
Oh, dear sister, I am sorry, but you have given me no choice but to use these.
Huh? We are already at the banishment? This was, this was rather short, but then again, this was kind of like my headcanon. Or a fanfic.
You alright there?
Yeah. At least I will get some comfort knowing that Luna will be redeemed later on back in season 1.
So we leave that simply just awesome flashback sequence, and the main six are giving Twilight weird looks.
It's just, you were mumbling to yourself.
Oh, and don't forget the uncontrollable sobbing. We were really worried about you.
I, for one, found it delightful. Sort of a one-pony theater piece, if you will. You should really consider taking it on the road.
And Discord still steals the show. Besides that flashback sequence.
I saw something from a long time ago.
And it was fan service. One awesome fan service.
Another sip of the potion will give you a peek.
Are you sure you want to drink again from it, Twilight? Again, you used dark magic to make it. And you probably just got lucky with that first flashback.
Extreme close-up! Whoa!
Well, never thought we would be making another Disney reference.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
Oh, this is so much fun. How about a game of pin the tail on the pony?
Did they just...
Oh yes, they did. They certainly did. And it is awesome.
Who actually thought you would be able to make Celestia look funny? Besides all of those fan comics.
Playtime is over for you, Discord.
Oh, I doubt that. Hungry?
Why do I get the feeling that this is trying to tell us something? Huh. It certainly was short.
It was, but satisfying. Don't you see what they're doing? You're ignoring the obvious signs.
Wait, there's more? What there could possibly be?
The Tree of Harmony.
What?
Tree of Harmony?
My cutie mark.
Okay, Twilight, sure it does look like your cutie mark, but there have been many stars shaped like that. It's no doubt just a coincidence. A rather big coincidence.
Even without these elements, the Tree of Harmony will possess a powerful magic. As long as that magic remains, it will continue to control and contain all that grows here.
Seems that the elements actually came from this tree, which actually, in a way, almost makes sense in this story's narrative and adds somewhat more mystery around the elements. But at last, the awesomeness must end and we are brought back to the present. But at least Main 6 now knows what to do.
That is an interesting concept. By that I mean that all of this is simply happening because the Tree of Harmony might be losing its magic and can't control the Everfree Forest.
Well, alright then. Let's go save a tree.
Why are you like that, Applejack? Shouldn't you already be at the Everfree Forest trying to save the tree, you friggin' tree hugger? Especially when you named one of your apple trees, for crying out loud!
Well, it wasn't an apple tree, so that's understandable. Just be thankful it isn't an orange tree.
Where is it exactly?
Well, gee, where do you think?
I think it's in there.
And next scene, Main 6 are talking and referencing about the events of Season 1's premiere. And it's really nice.
Until they are attacked by a crocodile made out of rocks.
Are you sure this isn't a missing Pokemon?
That was close.
And with that obstacle taken care of, our heroes continue their merry way. Until Applejack brings out something that made many fans yell from outrage.
Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea for Twilight to go back to Ponyville and let us look for the Tree of Harmony without her.
What? Why?
The rest of us aren't princesses. Princess Celestia and Princess Luna are gone. If something happened to you, I just don't think Equestria can risk losing another princess.
Applejack does make a valid point. Even if we manage to save the Tree of Harmony, it won't necessarily mean Princess Celestia and Princess Luna will return. Equestria will need some pony to lead in their absence. All of you feel this way? Feel like I shouldn't be here? It is probably for the best.
This scene is simply just stupid. Why would the main 6 agree on this when they need all the elements? And it's always been Twilight that fixes these situations. So why would they think something this stupid? Just proves how stupid this show has become because she's a princess. Hate to admit it, but he is right.
Except that princess part.
This scene is just one really bad filler and one forced way to add more drama and no doubt conflict. But it is not completely awful. The main six did bring up some good points about the possibility of Celestia and Luna not returning.
But the problem here is that they haven't thought that they need all the elements, and Twilight is the main ones to stop the Everfree from invading and saving their Tree of Harmony.
Sure, it is meant to protect Twilight, but think bigger. And besides, almost immediately Discord makes her turn back, which made this scene even more pointless.
But at least he was still awesome, right?
True.
Maybe whatever Twilight saw when she took that crazy potion wasn't real. Maybe there is no Tree of Harmony.
Maybe it's right down there.
It can't be. How are we supposed to get to it? Take the stairs, silly.
Pinky. You're a genius!
No, I'm not. I'm a chicken.
Okay.
So while 5 of them are getting to the tree, Twilight is having her own problems of finding them, and this also raises a new question. If this was supposed to be a dangerous trip, how come all of our heroes seem to have walked through this supposedly double dangerous forest without any scratch? They were pretty much worrying over Twilight for nothing.
You forget that they have their main character shields raised up. No photon minor enemy will be able to pass those shields.
So in order to find their way, Spike decides to take a better look from a tree. Even though Twilight could probably fly over them.
Her wings aren't just developed enough. Sorry, Twilight.
That's just more lazy writing! But when he returns to Twilight...
Oh no! Oh no! My nightmares! They return! And meanwhile, main 5 are at the tree and... well, you know.
I know who would know what to do, but we sent her home.
Gee, you certainly took your time with that thought.
And then Spikes comes in, deciding to copy Pinky's genius, even though he wasn't around, and of course tells them that Twilight is in trouble.
Okay, someone better do something soon before I'm officially spooked here.
Listen here, you rabid rhododendrons! You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!
You said it, Pinky. And Applejack too, of course.
Don't forget about me!
This premiere seems to only get better and better. Sure, last few scenes were pointless, but those were the only few bad points before all of the good points in this preview has.
So after one rather nice and funny fight scene, I guess, and Twilight blowing the last face hugger.
And that's why she's my favorite pony, right after Luna. You're welcome, Twilight. You're welcome.
We are back at the tree and Twilight just flies at it and then almost gets caught. What was the point of that?
No doubt trying to analyze the problem.
I know how we can save the tree.
Oh, great. How are you going to do that?
We have to give it the elements of harmony.
Wow. That's a bummer.
How are we supposed to protect Equestria? How are we meant to rein discord in if we can't use the elements to turn him back to stone?
Twilight, the elements of harmony, they're what keep us connected no matter what.
You're right about one thing, Applejack. The elements of harmony did bring us together. But it isn't the elements that will keep us connected. It's our friendship, and it's more important and more powerful than any magic. My new role in Equestria may mean I have to take on new responsibilities, and our friendships may be tested, but it will never, ever be broken.
And here Twilight explains things a little bit better. Too bad Applejack had to be written like that. And it's also nice that it will address about Twilight's status as a princess, and pretty much saying that even if she is a bit higher status, her friendship with her friends is always strong.
Hopefully calming down more of the rapid bronies. It is never enough!
So Twilight uses her magic to bring the elements around her, doing it rather similarly like Celestia a while ago in that one flashback.
Unfortunately, things aren't so simple, as... told you this was tinted.
Don't even dare finish that sentence!
Oh no, the vine has one of the elements. How are they going to... Or it just forgets about it and lets the elements return back to their original place.
Oh, pooh.
And Discord still steals the episode. Boy, they certainly look rather good, considering that they were trapped inside those nasty vines.
Yes! Yes! I have finally approved of this! This is the best season premiere so far! Yes! I am so happy I could...
But if she was also hugging Celestia, wouldn't this be more like...
Ew! Ew! No, God, no! Seriously, even I have some limits.
Okay, something else is gonna happen now.
Is it possibly new elements or something else?
A flower. I don't...
Oh, I got this! Then Twilight will take that flower, takes it into Candlelight, plants it there, and then that flower will be grown into a tree. And that from that point forward, it will be called the Tree of Princesses, and will only thrive as long as true Alicorn princess will sit the throne. And
okay, Yuso, I think you may have confused this with a much more popular fantasy story.
I don't think I have.
What's inside it? How am I supposed to open it? 6 locks, 6 keys.
And since there's a lot of jokes around the internet about what's in the box, here's a random Brony cameo.
Hello.
I do not know where they are, but I do know that it is a mystery you will not be solving alone.
Now this is something really interesting. A full season story arc. This is actually rather clever, which suddenly makes this season sound much more interesting.
Bravo, ladies, bravo! However did you save the day this time? Blast the beastie with your magic necklaces, I presume? Where are those little trinkets of yours? You know, the ones you used to send me back to my extremely uncomfortable stone prison.
Gone.
Gone? Gone?
You know, Applejack, sometimes a full truth isn't always the best at times.
But our friendship remains. And if you want to remain friends, you'll stop thinking whatever it is you're thinking and help us clean up.
That was complete bogus, as was Keep Calm and Flutter On. Discord is supposed to be the spirit of chaos. He is a villain. This is so out of character for him. Why would he turn evil just because Fluttershy said they wouldn't be friends anymore?
Just because someone is the spirit of chaos doesn't mean they're fully evil. It's pretty much shown that he's one big troll and is really close to Q from Star Trek.
Fine. But I don't do windows.
One thing I don't get. Why'd all this happen now?
I have no idea. Those seeds I planted should have sprouted up ages ago.
What a twist!
So it turns out that it was Discord behind these Vine invaders, which actually makes a nice twist, in a way.
And the fact that the scene earlier when Discord was eating those black things were actually the seeds of those vines, which was a really nice touch.
Truly, he is the master troll. He really makes my science cry and hurt.
Citizens of Equestria, it is no longer with a heavy heart, but with great joy that I raise the summer sun. For this celebration now represents not the defeat of Nightmare Moon, but the return of my sister, Princess Luna.
This just further proves that all previous seasons took place in about a year or so.
At least it seems so. The timelines are still a bit confusing with the Nightmare Night and Hearthwarming Eve episodes.
So we end our premiere with Luna lowering the moon as Celestia raises the sun, and Twilight actually performing what I like to call Sparkle Boom. And now Twilight is copying Rainbow Dash. Just proves how much of a Mary Sue she is. Even Rainbow didn't take this short amount of time to do a sonic rain boom.
But that wasn't the sonic rain boom.
What do you mean? Of course it was!
No, it really wasn't. Just look at the scene again. You can clearly see that Twilight's horn is glowing. Shows she just used magic to do that, whatever.
Oh. I guess it wasn't that bad. But she's still a Mary Sue!
That can be debatable. But yeah, that was Season 4 premiere, Princess Twilight Sparkle. So what have you thought about it? Well, I certainly did love it a lot. And I mean a lot. First few minutes weren't anything that great, but once we got over that and had the actual emotional moments with Celestia, that's where things started to become better. Then there were those flashback scenes, which were just awesome, since these have been the topics the Brony fandom have always talked about. While I would have liked them to be longer, especially Discord's flashback, I was still satisfied. And the whole feel of these episodes certainly were just great. You actually, well, almost, felt like this was immediate threat since we weren't sure where to put the blame, so to speak. And like I said earlier, the animation certainly has taken another further step forward, and it is awesome. Which now makes me wonder if we are going to get even more amazing features in the future episodes, like the fight between Celestia and Nightmare Moon, or that lightning at the beginning. The possibilities seem to be endless. And this also proved us that even though Twilight is now a princess, she still wants her friends to treat her the same way like usually, and also addressing that her new role will require a lot from her, but that won't get in the way of their friendship. That should at least calm some bronies down.
Well, not all of them.
So, there were a lot of good stuff, but also some bad stuff. A lot like Twilight's friends abandoning her, but I will kind of look over that because it was such a minor thing that it didn't really take me away from the whole episode. Yes, I still question it, but I still like to enjoy these episodes. And I hate to admit this, but it's much better than Crystal Empire, which so far has been my favorite season premiere. But this simply just wins, just by inch. So, Leo, your thoughts?
I certainly can agree with you, except that Crystal Empire bit, but yes, like you said, these episodes seem to have a lot more emotion behind it than in the previous openers. And like, once again, Celestia and Yuna were rendered useless, I still in a way felt for them. You see, just because Celestia and Luna haven't really been useful in any openers so far, that still hasn't taken me away from their characters, which are really nice and even interesting. And these episodes probably made me appreciate Celestia's character a bit more, showing the much more emotional side of her we, truth be told, haven't seen before. That was one big plus, like you said. So we both still like Celestia and Luna as characters, even if they are never used.
And besides, if they use Celestia and Luna in some way, the possibilities are they would just deal with the problem before Main 6 can deal with it.
Yeah, it could happen. And also, I really liked Pink Pie in this. Her jokes seemed to be much more funny and made a bit more sense than they did in the Crystal Empire. And of course, this was made better with Discord, as he pretty much stole the whole thing. But the Sakura cameo was a really nice touch, and the flashbacks you mentioned. Also, the visuals and soundtrack made this a much more amazing and even somewhat emotional experience. However, I did feel a bit disappointed that there was no real villain. I mean, the forest, in a way, was, but when the real twist was revealed, while great, it still left me feeling slightly disappointed. Also, I think we probably need to address a certain scene from the second part.
Twilight's friends abandoning her, like some bronies like to say.
We aren't gonna lie, that scene just came out of nowhere and took us away from the experience. And it was dealt with so quickly that there was simply no point having it there. For example, the Vice Principal Luna scene from Equestria Girls. It's just there for the sake of conflict.
However, you need to watch these scenes from a different point of view. Again, if Luna and Celestia wouldn't return, someone else must take their place. And there's no way in hell anyone should allow Prince Blueblood to take charge. So of course they would probably think like that. It is only logical.
But the problem simply was with the execution, and how rushed it felt. If the premiere had been longer, it probably would have been done slightly, if not much better. But for what it's worth, neither of us don't mind it that much, as it is just one still somewhat big problem in the premiere, which is simply good in many ways. That is no real reason! How can you like something when there are parts which just hurt these episodes so much? How can you like it just because?
Well, we can. Just because there are some mistakes doesn't mean you can't fully enjoy the episodes. I mean, Let's take season 1 premiere for example, which is so far my least favorite premiere. And that was the first MLP episodes I ever watched. And there were a lot of things to say about that. In fact, there's also a lot to say about season 2 premiere.
But we just mostly ignore them and just watch them as they are. Still getting annoyed by the small stupid bits, but enjoying the much more better parts. So yeah, we both had a great time with this season opener.
And I have a feeling that this season will be just as great as this premiere.
How can you say such a thing? You who are supposed to be the fan of this amazing series! You just might as well admit that you don't like the show at all!
Well, they are correct. I mean, this series is so flawed you can fit both sun and moon through it.
How can you call yourself a brony or sleep at night at peace? You have no appreciation of this show at all!
At least I see the problems with this show and not just put them under the rug.
Watch yourself, buddy, or I'll be getting to you at
You can't even hit a donkey square in the face. No offense.
None taken.
Don't you dare open your mouth again to me, or I'll make sure that you will get proper friendship
Who do you think
lessons
you
from
are
me.
anyway?
You
Just
know
because you're
that
dressed
I
like
have
that doesn't mean you...
proper-
Okay, I think we've had enough of that.
Yeah, thanks again. So, how did this review felt?
Well, considering how I wasn't forcefully dragged into doing this like the 2 previous times, I rather enjoyed it. Even if it did drag a little bit.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, I guess the next thing we're going to review is...
Oh, no you don't.
What?
You've already decided 3 different reviews so far. Now it's my turn.
Well, technically I only suggested 2. The season 3 review was just stroke of luck.
But either way, I want to choose the next 2 reviews.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
You are?
Yeah, so what have you planned?
Oh yeah, well, I was thinking about maybe Double Rainboom and Snowdrop. What do you say?
I'm in.
Never fails. You get in the bath and there's a rub at the lamp. Hello?